Perfect. So we'll move on with Marion, your share thought.
Just looking at some of the comments and summarizing some of these things together. We've been talking about top-down solutions and ground-up solutions. Everything from the UN is top-down.
Yes.
And the UN people have the highest salaries
Yes.
in the world. I understand that many of the salaries are in the range of $100,000 tax-free.
Yes.
And when I'm in Nepal, I see the UN cars coming through. There used to be a cartoon in the Nepal papers. Why is this road being worked on to make the Pajeros come through? And the Pajeros are the UN choice of vehicle. At the same time, when I speak in colleges in America, I'm getting volunteers coming out by the dozens. They're ready to come, pay their own way, about $2,000 to come for a 10-day, 11-day trip to Nepal.
Absolutely.
That means they've got to raise that money themselves. They take on second jobs, first jobs, second jobs. They raise the funds. It takes them about 2 to 3 months. They write letters to their relatives. They raise the $2,000. However, they're not allowed into the country in many cases. I have problems getting them visas into India. I have problems. Pay 25 bucks and you can get into Nepal, but India, 150 bucks to get just a transit visa. Okay, you talk about no doctors in it.
VSO used to have the same problem. When I first came to India, I wanted to come as a VSO volunteer. VSO said we can't get people into India. You'll have to go independently. You'll have to. So I had to make my own way.
Praveen is the man from VSO, yes. Yeah, I know.
I was not alone there.
You talk about getting doctors. I work in a town of 70,000. I believe there's one doctor in that town. Now, we have sent a nurse to college, and she'll be available at the end of this year, and we'll be starting a maternal health clinic. Guess what? No UN, no government. The UN is very expensive. We built a school, $65,000. What does it cost for the UN to build a school? In Afghanistan, the Marines are building schools at about $300,000 a piece. Okay? And the Muslims, the Afghan local imams, are going to shut down the schools for the girls as soon as we leave. Only the boys. If we take books, if we take bags to the girls' schools, they're taken away and given to the boys' schools. So talk about something that is top down, it's not working. So in Goa, we were feeding children. Guess what? Government found out that foreigners were feeding children. They shut it down. So overall, I'd like to see fewer objections to volunteers coming from the US and from other Western countries. You know what? People are scared of being converted. Let the best ideas win.
Right, absolutely. So it's ideas for action, and I absolutely agree with you. There's this book you should read, which is written by a person called Michael Madden, and he'll probably be with us at Rex next year. It's all about international funding and how it's called The Road to Hell, because it's about what funding does, global funding does. And point well taken about the Pajeros. In fact, I speak in B schools, and Soil, whose volunteers are with us today. I remember I spoke in their school around a year ago to as an orientation program for the batch of 2010, and one girl put her hand up, and when I asked them what do you want to do, who amongst you want to work in the social sector, and one girl put her hand up and she said, I want to work with the UN. And I said, why? She said, it's a good lifestyle. I said, what? What are you talking about? And she said, it's a good lifestyle. I've seen my auntie doing it, and I won't name the person she named. And I said, but that's that's the wrong reason you should be joining the UN. I said, join it to change it from within. And I actually took off on her because it kind of made me very angry. And she then found me on Facebook and she wrote to me, thanks for changing my perspective. So, yes, absolutely right. Today I think Mr. Bill Gates needs to look into the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. You're flying business class, living in 5-star hotels, ostentatious opulence. It's appalling. Point well taken, absolutely well taken. It's the grassroots workers who are bringing in the change. It's those volunteers who are bringing in the change. And those people, you don't want them because you can't get the big funding because of, if those volunteers come and do the work for free. So it's a catch-22 situation actually. So we'll move on, we'll have Angad reflect with his thoughts, and we'll then get into an open house for 15 minutes and break for tea. Angad?
First of all, I just want everybody to be not sleeping, like in last rows now. Because I'm not going to speak about any discussions, any problems. I'm just going to speak about the solutions. I'm not endorsing any organizations, but I'm endorsing issues which affect you and me. I'm talking about the climate for change. Let's just not talk about the problems, because we have to focus really on the solutions. Now, one of the problems that has been reflected by Parkinson sir is the value-based education, I guess. If I could just mention that one word which could be solution for it, would be ideals. Jerry, bhaiya, could you help me spell out that word? Ideals, one letter by one time. One letter at a time.
I.
Okay, I, internationalism.
T.
Democracy.
E.
Environment.
A.
Adventure.
L.
Leadership.
S.
Service.
Have I passed?
Yes. So, this one word, we could even launch a campaign by this word, because this symbolizes the very integrity and the value-based education which a system should have. We have taken a step forward by the CCE, but again, there are a lot of improvements which need to be done in that regard. Stressing about some other environmental things, there's a school called Schule Schloss Salem in Germany. Why I'm referring to this school is because in this school, every day, there's a Delhi half marathon. In the sense that every day, they have morning runs of 20 kilometers. And it's done by all the students, by all the staff. So we could have something like this in India also.
Parents would kill me.
Okay, at least like once in a week. 2 kilometers.
You ask kids to run round the field? Twice.
Maybe
Parents will be down.
maybe walk with the citizens, like, yeah, we could raise awareness of it. Okay. Again, like, environment is a very important issue. It's very imperative for us to address. It's one of the most imperative MDGs right now. So I just did some research on the garbage disposal while I was in class 10th. I would request Hona Bhaiya to put up some photos. Okay, so talking about garbage disposal. Garbage disposal, the problem is like really big, and the solution is very, very small. Why? If you can segregate the waste at the grassroots level means at your own home, you're able to segregate the waste for all the locality, for all the community, for all the city, for all the state, for all the nations, for all the world. So, if we can segregate our waste at our homes, we are able to segregate the waste for all of the world. It's as simple and as subtle as that. What we could do is, we could have 3 jars which could have organic, recycling, non-recyclable. So in that way we could also recycle all the materials and not waste them by just trashing them or burning them like in incinerators or elsewhere. So this is a home kind of a garbage disposal, and wherein we can recycle the organic material and we can convert it into manure. It takes some time, but at least it's good for the environment. Next please. Okay, this is some high-tech stuff from the Apollo 11, the Apollo 13s. It's called the Armstrong dustbin. What basically it is used to minimize the waste we generate. How? Again, very simple. You put your garbage in, close the dustbin lid, and press on the dustbin with your foot. You just compress it, that's all. So you can compress waste, you reduce waste, again the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. This is actually inspired by the NASA techie stuff. So, next please. Okay, thank you. Now that was about the garbage disposal. We could have some more solutions like the carbon digester. Delhi Metro is the best example of what we can do really to, in terms of mass mobilization. The carbon credits actually earn, everybody knows about the carbon credits. So the carbon credits actually earned by the Delhi Metro are the world's largest in terms of numbers. And they have been bought by the UN, which they can be traded. So really nice for India because India has set an example. Adding on to that, the worst part is the e-waste. E-waste issues are very, very imperative. The Western world nations have e-waste laws. Laws which govern the disposing of e-waste. By the disposing of e-waste, companies are not, they have to pay to dispose e-waste. If you have to dispose the e-waste, you have to pay. But nobody is ready to pay. So what they do is, they send the e-waste into container ships to India. Because disposing here is as free as it can get. Everybody knows that India doesn't have any e-waste laws. So the point is, e-waste, if it has to be disposed, we have to take up this matter because there have been reports and there are evidences that the e-waste is being disposed of by Western nations into India and China, of course. Some more, if we could have strict laws governing this, we could really work over this.